RaceKraft V8 Vets. The Elkhart Lake 200 is at Road America tonight, live on SimSpeed TV. 3 long straights, challenging elevation and racing in the shade and underneath the trees of America's National Park of Speed. Can't wait to get into it. David Haynes here with Connor Nixon and Daniel Yeaman in the production as SimSpeed TV brings you RaceKraft V8 Vets from Road America. Big thank you to the supporters of RaceKraft V8 Vets, RaceKraft, LGC Images, Logitech G, Nova Sim Sports, Player One Sim Gear, Parramatta Isuzu, and SudSpeed. As Connor, we go take a close look at this racetrack. It's longer than Bathurst, but it doesn't have more elevation change.
Yeah, hello everyone. So we're here at Road America, like David Haynes said. So we're going to have a look at the track map here. Here it is. Very long track. As Haynes said, it is definitely longer. 6.4 kilometers, 4 miles, 14 turns, which are very hard to do. They look easy on a track map. You got turn 1, very difficult to get the car stopped, and it is clockwise. And yeah, that's the track. Wisconsin we're in as well. But yeah, one of my favorites. Very tricky, hard to master. So it'll be good to see these guys get around and see who masters the track.
Key overtaking opportunities, turn 1, turn 3, turn 5, and turn 12 at Canada Corner, a big braking zone. If you can stay close through the challenging turn 11 kink, not easy to do in these cars. The speed and horsepower that they've got and the way that they handle a high-speed corner like that. So in the championship race this season, Jordan Ross is the man to catch and beat, and Wayne Walker successfully did it a week ago at Portland and closes the gap to 44 points. Jordan Ross leads Wayne Walker with Scott Gamble in third. Troy Stonestreet, Michael Stewart, Wayne Sanderson, Mark Poynton, Jeff Thomas, Chad Lewis, and Michael Whiting completing the top 10 with no drop rounds yet factored. Mike Taliancic had a good round 4 and moves up to 18th in the standings. Again, he could jump up a bit further once the drop rounds factor as well. He hasn't been at every race this season, and Ken Latta, a DNF at Portland, drops a chunk of spots. Those are the movers and the shakers in the points. So close still between sort of 2nd and 5th as well, though. This is how the points table and point scoring works, of course, based on race results. Finish higher, get more points, but some other bonus points in play as well. 1 for pole position, 1 for the fastest lap, 3 for a 0 incident race, 1 for leading any lap, 1 for leading the most laps, and 1 bonus point for joining our Zoom wall. We're going to get there in a moment as well before we go racing. But certainly a format that rewards a lot of consistency. DNFs are super costly the way that those points are laid out. And then it is the Elkhart Lake 200, because we have 200 kilometers of racing ahead of us. That'll be 31 laps of this long circuit. 75% of race distance. To be a classified finisher is 24 laps, starting with 50 litres of fuel and a 70% refill capacity tank. That will give us some rather narrow pit stop windows compared to some of the strategy we've seen in past, and it is high fuel burn with the long straights, with the long lap, and a lot of time at full throttle around here. 2 compulsory pit stops. Compulsory pit stop window to open at the end of lap 2. Asterisk is about if there's a lap 1 safety car, at which point the compulsory pit stop window wouldn't open with a lap 1 safety car. We'll see what happens and cross that Sargento cheese bridge when we get to it. And Connor, we'll have another deeper look at the fuel strategy for this.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. And here's the fuel strategy for tonight. And it is definitely an interesting one, starting on the 93 litres, 70% fuel restriction. 50 litre start, sorry, my apologies. So very interesting strategy. about 3 strategies that you can go into this, and it's a very interesting one. What would you probably go, Haynes, there on the table?
Well, I normally have a couple of sayings that I roll out for this one. One is sort of the Long Beach situation. If you can get your first compulsory pit stop cleared, and then a safety car comes out, you can make your second compulsory pit stop under safety car and really be at an advantage to everyone who stops underneath that safety car, but then still potentially under green flag conditions needs to make their remaining compulsory pit stop. Depends on how safety cars happen or fall. So yeah, if I'm not in the top 10, I'm thinking an early stop could be the way to go. You're not really at risk of going a whole lap down or anything around a long race track like this. So somewhere on the early side, probably not going all the way to 9 laps. Now, Wayne Walker was the winner last time out at a new racetrack at Portland. Many people will long be familiar, though, with Road America. And for his effort, pretty sure we gave the Chubby Bunsburgers driver of the day to Wayne Walker on the occasion of his first RaceKraft V8 Vets win. So a well-deserved victory and a well-deserved driver of the day for Wayne Walker. Soon we're going to know how he stacked up here in round 5 at Road America. We said 1 bonus point for joining the Zoom wall. Well, plenty of drivers are going to get that 1 bonus point. Drivers like Luke Ullman, Travis Hunt, the Sandman, Stephen Clark, Dean Flavel and his Dino Dino, Stacey Boyd, Dan Hall, Sean McNamara, David Kirby, Chad Lewis, Jeff Thomas, Scott Gamble, Jonathan Gallen, Wayne Walker is just there, and then Michael Stewart, Greg Sharp, Christian... Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on that one? Christian Smart, Dean Logsdale, and Ken Latter. So plenty of drivers will be able to check in across with the 200 kilometers today.
Yeah, definitely a lot of people out here.
Which one's most interesting to look at for you there, Connor?
I was just about to say Travis Hunt up on the top there. He was trying to, you could tell he's trying to talk to a teammate going, yeah, look, I was getting this close to the wall. And you could just see him a couple of seconds go. And it's just awesome to see all these guys on the wall. And very animated, which as commentators you love because you can bounce off that a lot. But yeah, looking at a lot of steering wheels as well. Like everyone's got awesome simulators here. Scott Gamble's one of them. I know he got a brand new steering wheel from HRS. So I know that will be a very nice little addition to the sim rig there. So moving forward from that, but yeah, looking great on the Zoom feed.
Yep, fantastic. So 200 kilometers of racing ahead of us, and this is how the grid has been set. Jordan Ross, championship leader with the pole position. Scott Gamble, just over a tenth behind him. Wayne Walker will start on the second row alongside Michael Stewart. Sean McNamara and Logan Barnett give us a 9.5 SimSport row 3. Scott Mackay and Ken Latter the next row for the standing start. Troy Stonestreet and Paul Young just thousandth of a second apart and completing the top 10. Mike Taliancic 11th from Dean Logsdale in 12th. Remembering that the standing start here at Road America will have some of the back of the grid on a very sharp uphill. We'll keep an eye on that. Christopher Burridge in 13th, Luke Allman on the Zoom wall in 14th, Travis Hunt on the Zoom wall in 15th, and he's alongside his teammate Jeff Thomas, who apparently he was telling how close he got to the wall. So those teammates start their 15th and 16th place. David Kirby in 17th with Andrew Rushworth in 18th. Dino Dino within a second of pole in 19th, Ray Smith in 20th likewise. Mark Poynton, the last driver, within 1 second of Jordan Ross's pole time in 21st. Greg Sharp in 22nd alongside him. Stacey Boyd and Dan Hall 23rd and 24th on the grid. Stewie Hall in 25th. 26th is Justin McLean, and then John Latham in 27th, David Nash in 28th. Christian Smart, whose surname I blanked on earlier, will start from 29th, with Steve Kennedy in 30th. 40 drivers are set qualifying times, with Wayne Sanderson in 31st, Chad Lewis in 32nd, Stephen Clark, inverted commas, the Sandman in 33rd, John Gallen in 34th, Ricky Hyde in 35th, Gary Buckland is qualified 36th, Scott McCune, Darren Goosey, Matt Brunt and Ben Morris complete the drivers with qualifying times. Darren Lobb doesn't have one. He was one of the biggest position gainers last time at Portland, where he also qualified rather poorly, so there's a driver to keep an eye on. Always a podium threat when he starts inside of the top 10. And even with 200 kilometers of racing, I think a big ask to move up the field from 41st to try to bag a podium. But we never say never, because anything's possible with safety cars potentially in play if we get an incident that requires them, Connor.
Yeah, 100%. Safety cars always chop up the race. If we get a safety car mid-strategy, the strategies will just go all out the window. But yeah, you were talking about Darren Lobb. He'll be a massive threat here. I know that versing Darren Lobb at Road America, he is a handyman around here for sure. I think it's one of his favourites, and I'm looking forward to seeing him come up through the field. But with the safety car side of it, yeah, it's going to be very interesting, being that if the safety car comes out at the wrong time, a lot of the strategies will definitely be muddled up. So I'm looking forward to it, Haynes. Should be good.
And if you want to see Darren Lobb climbing up through the field, or you've got a different friend, family, relative, spouse you're trying to keep an eye on, our live timing is available. You can find that in the YouTube comments or other places as well. And that can keep you up to date on some of the strategy as we go. Heading towards the gridding now, and we'll take a look exactly how far back 40th is in this, and see who's starting on the flat and who's starting on the uphill. Reminder of what the race round 5 is going to look like. 31 laps is 201.95 kilometers, starting with 50 liters, a tank capacity of 70%, and 2 compulsory pit stops required. Jordan Ross and Scott Gamble are on the grid for the standing start. Most of the drivers are getting down and getting ready. Well, that's not as bad as I thought. It's a really long front straight here at Road America. It's a really long every straight here at Road America. That's how it ends up, with 14 turns but nearly 6.5 kilometers.
Yeah, it's very close to 6.5. Racing around this place, it feels weird. If you don't really notice it's such a long track, but you get on it and you're like, oh my god, I'm down this straight for so long. I feel like I can go and grab a coffee. So it's going to be interesting. You were saying about the standing start. These cars are not easy to get off the line, as we know, watching a lot of veterans races. So it should be interesting coming up to turn 1. Hopefully no one gets any wheel spin, or minimise the wheel spin as much as possible.
Or not stall. We've seen that happen. Someone said they what did they do? They dropped the clutch and then realised it was still in neutral. I think happened.
I've done that before.
Yep. Something to look out for. And these cars are equipped with a sort of a line locker equivalent. Now, it's normally meant, I think, to stop you rolling forward, but some are going to need it to stop them rolling backwards. Drivers on the last couple of rows, like Darren Lobb, Darren Goosey, Matt Brunt, others like that. This is, of course, split 1 of 4 for RaceKraft V8 veterans. So I don't think I'm talking down anyone who's qualified in the high 30s or 40s. You were just sort of noticing that, yeah, this is a league for drivers over the age of 40, but we still have an immense amount of experience and talent on show.
Yeah, definitely. I do recognise a lot of these names from driving in Scops and Pro Series. A lot of them have been in those series, so it is definitely not a little series at all. Matthew Brunt has been around for years as well, racing around him back in, when I was nice and young and youthful. So it should be it'll be good to watch these guys go around. I've only commentated split 2, so this will be good to see split 1. get going in a couple of seconds here.
Yeah, 10 seconds to race start. There's Jordan Ross on his pole position, and yeah, a little bit down the back of the hill from about 35th on back. Jordan Ross has got a great position to start from with the advantage of a couple of meters with the inside line for turn 1, and a straight view, straight shot to cover that off on the race start. 31 laps is 200 kilometers for the RaceKraft V8 Vets Elkhart Lake 200, and it is underway. Gamble, that is a decent getaway. 3 wide, 4 wide in the back, and you run out of space here because the pit wall is right up against the racetrack. There's no grass to dip your tires in on the right-hand side. Jordan Ross under pressure. Wayne Walker looking aggressive down the inside. Scott Gamble around the outside, trying to stay with him. 2 wide through the turn 2 kink into the braking zone at turn 3. Jordan Ross to sweep through to try to hold the race lead, but slipstreaming will become a factor on these long straights. We mostly get away cleanly enough. Chad Lewis, I think, has a black flag for jumping the start deeper in the field, but underneath the cheese bridge, 2 wide, 3 wide. Biggest braking zone on the racetrack is downhill here into turn 5. The car wants to run on. You need to brake heavy and brake early for this slow left-hander and then shoot up the hill. We get away cleanly for the leaders on lap 1. In turn 5 deeper in the field, 3 wide, 4 wide, but I think they work their way through. No risk of a safety car just yet.
Yeah, no safety car through there. We saw Stephen Clark, Mr. Sandman, actually having some traction issues out of the rear, but we can see Lob is already up a few positions already, and Chad Lewis, like you said, he's got that black flag, so he's definitely jumped the start there, so you have to come in and serve that one, being in the car of the 727. So yeah, very interesting start, but for the leaders, that's what you want. Get away nice and cleanly.
Put your hands in the air and say, we're going 2 wide through the carousel. Chad Lewis on the inside of Darren Lobb. You got to leave a space. All the time you got to leave a space, and it's not been left. They're going to head out towards the chicane before the kink. Darren Lobb, I don't think did much wrong there. And for Chad Lewis, he's dead last, and he's carrying a drive-through penalty. It's a long pit lane here as well. So a drive-through penalty is a bigger penalty here than some other racetracks. Not what Chad Lewis needs. The only driver behind him, David Nash. No meatball flags, nothing like that. Only flag being displayed is the drive-through for Chad Lewis. And bad to worse, my goodness.
Yep. Off the road there for David Nash there, but back up to the front, we can see Jordan Ross absolutely flying away from the field, and Scott Gamble being on the rear there, just trying to save a little bit of fuel in the tyres, trying to change the strategy as much as he can. Saving a little bit of fuel can be massive in these types of races where it's 31 laps, and you want to make Jordan Ross jump before you do to the pit lane. So Scott Gamble just sitting nice and tight behind him, and then we've got Wayne Walker just following along. And look at the pack behind Haynes. This is just incredible start for Jordan Ross.
Yeah, good start for Jeff Thomas as well, from 16th up into 12th. Paul Young from 10th up into 8th. You've got the staggered rather than side-by-side rows for the standing start here at Road America, and it means all of your top 6 are actually still running in the order that they qualified. Paul Young picks up another one, so at turn 5, Paul Young's gone and made another move, got ahead of Ken Latter. So Paul Young's the exciting driver out of this first lap and a half.
Yeah, turn 5 being a massive braking zone, you can definitely get the car up the inside and really push out the opposite driver to get on the outside and get all that dirty air or marbles, and get them a little wheel spin, and that's how you get them out turn 5. So that will be definitely the big passing opportunity. The other passing opportunities are very sketchy indeed. So turn 12 is probably the other one I could probably think of as a passing opportunity. But yeah, I'm sure some of these guys will definitely make it work at points.
Scott Mackay was wide at the Hurry Downs. Troy Stone Street thought about having a go at him. Mike Teljancic is having a go down the inside, and someone's around and going backwards. Who's losing out at Canada Corner? In the gravel, Teljancic still side by side, heading up over the rise of the hill. Very, very tough to do. Travis Hunt's lost a handful of positions, but I'm not sure it was him. It might have been someone with the blue rims, Burridge?
Yeah, that is Burridge indeed. But yeah, he dropped a massive bit of chunk there, and Mike Teljancic seeing that his qualifying didn't really go well. Wayne Walker with the fastest lap going across the start-finish line and riding on with Chris Burridge here. And yeah, he's moved back a bit. So here's our replay, Racecraft Simulations replay. Mike T down the inside, making a move there. Bit of contact in Chris. Yeah, massive punt there from Travis Hunt. So I'm sure we'll get another on board. There it is. Daniel Yeaman on the cameras. And yeah, look at that. There's the punt there. So that might be a penalty for Travis Hunt. That will send him back. Actually saying that, Chris Burridge kind of gathered it up and went. So maybe that will be a no further action. We'll see what happens there.
Certainly keep an eye on it. Chad Lewis has served his drive-through penalty from the jump start. 29.6 seconds is the pit lane transit time here at 72 kilometers an hour, 45 cheeseburger miles per hour. And David Nash is pitting, I think, to get a little bit of damage repaired, and also, deep as he was in the field, just to give himself a strategy offset, put himself maybe in that Long Beach situation type of strategy. So now JWM drivers with some work to do. Travis Hunt with Dan Hall just behind him, Stacey Boyd just behind that. A few drivers that have had some woes off this start. So 9 spots down for Hunt, 1 down for Dan Hall, 3 down for Stacey Boyd. The opposite is Ricky Hyde up 8, Darren Lobb up 8, Mark Poynton up 6. There is Ricky Hyde going through the kink. I was commentating a league with Super Formula Lights earlier today. They are flat out, no worries through the kink. I don't think in any conditions these drivers are comfortable going through that kink.
I could, yeah, flat out in these cars at that kink. I know they do need it. Oh, there's Chris Burridge around. Oh, there's going to be contact.
Backwards. McLean's going to collect him. Yeah, massive crash. I don't think Burridge is going to go anywhere. He's facing the wrong way and backwards in a difficult spot. Coming out of turn 5. He got meatball flags for John Latham. Chris Burridge requesting a tow. This is the damage for John Latham. He can't turn left. Darren Lobb and the rest. Oh, they're going to have a turnaround coming out of the final corner as well. Steve Kennedy gets looped 360 with a massive checkup. Looks like McCune is backwards as well. Justin McLean. Oh, look at this run on a pit lane. So many damaged cars. And the safety car. Benefits the back half of the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, this would actually be quite interesting for those guys that pitted early. If they take some fuel before these guys, they could like jump them. So that'll be interesting to see where they all stack out. If they get in front of Jordan Ross and Scott Gamble, this might be very interesting. So they're going to sort of race around the track to get back to the safety car.
Yeah, so Jordan Ross doesn't have to hit a delta, but in this circumstance, you can't overtake. So when you can lose time is being behind someone who's dilly-dallying a little bit to get around to the pit lane. There's not going to be too many people dilly-dallying too much, but yeah, it can cost you if the driver in front's not quite as quick as you could do, and you can't pass them in this circumstance, and you're being undercut by those that have stopped. David Nash is the highest running car that's been through pit lane. Scott McCune looks like he, with a really quick stop, is actually going to get out ahead of Darren Goosey, who's taken a good chunk of fuel. So is Gary Buckland. Quite a few of these drivers from that tail of the field, I reckon, will have gone close to brimming their tank.
Yeah, I was just thinking with their strategy before on the broadcast. There was a strategy. If you pitted lap 4, you could actually make this work. So Chris Burridge is still on the racetrack, so these guys have to just race through. We're going to see all these guys boxed, or they might stay out, but I'd say most of them are going to come in. So riding on Jordan Ross, does he come in? Yes, he does. Here they all come.
Yeah, compulsory pit stop window is open, and you've got to make 2 of them, so it makes all the sense in the world. Even if you don't get a lot of fuel in, or it's just a quick stop to top up the tank, get one of your compulsory pit stops cleared for cheap, knowing that it's a 30-second pit lane transit time here as well. Logan Barnett with a black flag. Is that speeding on pit entry from the driver in 7th place? Ooh, we'll check out if maybe he got hit from behind. You and I would probably have some experience with this, Connor. You can't see the cones for the pit lane speed limit until you're over the crest and already need to start braking for them.
Well, you can't really see over these bonnets, so I could imagine this would be quite easy. Running on board with Logan, and there's the contact. Oh, massive contact. So both of them actually, I wonder if the fishy car actually got a black flag or not. Ken Ladder has apparently got no safety black flag, so Yeah, just Logan Barnett. So I'm sure he won't be happy, but he does have a black flag, and he's going to have to serve it. So Ken Ladder getting his car stopped by Logan Barnett. So I'm sure Ken Ladder's happy in that. But look at this, riding aboard, bang, there it is. Oh, God, look at that. Look at the car just stopping instantly. It's like he's just hit a brick wall there. So
it's a bit of Newton's cradle, isn't it? He transfers his energy to the next ball suspended by the string on the office toy. And Logan Barnett will be very unhappy with that. I suspect that will be a penalty for contact. Even if it wasn't pit entry, you can't just run up the back of someone like that. So Ken Ladder not covering himself in glory with that one. Everyone has been through the pit lane. Some drivers twice, like those with penalties. Darren Lobb's got a black flag as well. Huh? Interesting to see how he got that one.
That was with Chad Lewis with the contact.
Right. So that's been given by Race Control, not been given by iRacing? Oh, let's take a look.
By iRacing. Yeah, okay.
And so we can just check on who's jumped who with that pit stop cycle as well. McNamara's gotten 3. Looking at Lobb on the pit exit here, you can see the speed on the dash, 72 kilometers an hour. Pit lane speed limit. Is it just... Oh, he's cut too left. He's gone too far left.
Oh, no. That's... So if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about here, so you actually need to stay in between that yellow line there and cross that blue line. Like, see how everyone's doing that? Oh, they went too wide. There you go. So that is a black flag from iRacing. So that's actually not from Race Control themselves. That is from iRacing going, oh, you can't do that. So I can't remember exactly if it's a drive-through or 40 seconds penalty, but I know it's a big penalty. So that'd be interesting.
I think on pit exit, it's the drive-through, and it's going to be tough for Darren Lobb.
Yeah, I seriously thought it was from that contact at turn 11 with the King. So, very interesting on there.
Other gains through pit lane. Jeff Thomas has gained a whole group of positions. He's +7. Sure, McNamara short stop has just jumped a couple on the lane. Paul Young as well, though he'd already made 3 of those spots on track. He's made another 2 on the lane. Pit stop times are on the timing column, and I think if you just went that 1.5 seconds shorter in the lane, with how compressed the field was under the safety car, I think that was a chance to jump a couple of spots if you were like McNamara and took 26 instead of 27.5 seconds of fuel.
Yeah, well, this is interesting now, right? So obviously McNamara's went to second now, but that gives another buffer to Jordan Ross. Pardon me. It's almost one of those things where you've got someone in between that you know, okay, Scott Gamble's the second fastest car in qualifying. This is good. This is good for me. So yeah, we saw Jordan Ross take 28 litres. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, the strategies are going to be quite yeah. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then, for comparison, or a couple of drivers that had stopped the lap earlier that only took 16 seconds of fuel, like Scott McCune. Ben Morris might have had some repairs to do. His stop took 40 seconds. Justin McLean as well. Still a looming black flag over Darren Lobb. Christopher Burridge has just been asked to tow, and meatball flag looming over him.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate race. He's doing pretty well there, and yeah, he's ended up going around that we saw on screen there. So yeah, that's his night finish. So that will be a DNF, and that will be it for the round for there. So that will be 0 points, I'm pretty sure, for this race for Chris Burridge.
1 lap to green, but they are such long laps under safety car here at a 6.4 kilometre circuit. We were just at Portland a week ago, which is less than half the distance of this lap around Road America. It's sort of a Winton length of racetrack there at Portland International Raceway. So yeah, 2 or 3 laps behind the safety car is a long time and a long distance, and eats up a fair bit of the clock. Darren Lobb cycle back a little bit as you saw him entering pit lane. Chad Lewis is on pit lane again. Justin McLean's on pit lane again. There's a few drivers deep in the field that go, well, I pitted, and it's 2 laps since I pitted, so I'll even if it's behind safety car, I'll come in and I'll make sure I top up before we restart and go racing again.
Yeah, that extra bit of fuel, like we've been banging on about how big the track is, like 6.4 Ks. If you get an extra lap, that is a lot of time in pit lane. So yeah, it's definitely not a bad idea getting 10 litres or so, if I'm correct, to have that buffer for the next pit stop. So those guys might jump up through the field, but the only issue I have with that is losing a couple of positions. But track position's probably a very big thing around here. Watching the Pro Series race around here a week ago, passing is not easy. Like we said, turn 5 is probably the biggest opportunity, but going through how many cars we got on here tonight? About 38, 36, so that's a lot of cars to get through. So it is a bit of a gamble, that's for sure. 39 cars we've got tonight as well, so correct in my statement there.
Who else has gained a whole heap of spots? Well, we pointed out Ricky Hyde. Should point out Scott McCune and Darren Goosey. Matthew Brunt gaining a couple. John Gallen, I think, might have been the driver that Darren Lobb was side by side with exiting pit lane. So that was one spot that Gallen got.
Yeah, I wonder. Kind of curious. I don't know if race control will do anything about it. I guess you can't really do anything about it, can you? The Darren Lobb situation. So
I thought it was sort of on Darren Lobb to look at the blue line and cone that iRacing put there, and
yeah, kind of back out from the situation and minimise the.
Like same deal for Long Beach where we were earlier this season. There's a quite strictly enforced pit exit blend line, and
there is too.
You're the correct side of it. Good. If you cut it like 1 or 2 drivers did, then hey, there's a penalty for that. So you take it.
I'll quickly get this in before we go racing. Even when you're at Long Beach, if you're on the racing track and go over to the right hand side a little bit too much with the pit exit you actually get a slow down as a driver on the track. So yeah, Long Beach is a very interesting circuit, and I'll give it back to you, Hans, so you can do this restart.
It's very nice of you. I'd also appreciate it if less sirens were going by my house. That'd help me. It'll be lap 7 when we restart. Everyone has made one stop. Jordan Ross leads this race. Sean McNamara up behind him. And then Scott Gamble, Wayne Walker, and Paul Young, the star of some of these opening laps here, making some big moves on track, gaining some time through the pit lane and still seeming to take enough fuel to go with it. So he'll restart 5th in this train, just behind Wayne Walker. And then if we get a green flag run through the middle of this race, we'll see how the strategy plays out with believe everyone still needing to take a second compulsory pit stop. Jordan Ross has gone early before even the final corner. This will stretch out the field onto the front straight at full racing speed. Wayne Walker's had a snap. Cold tyres touched a little bit of the grass or the curb on the outside as we go racing again.
Yeah, having a massive oversteer moment there. So Paul Young's probably going to have an opportunity in the next couple of corners because Wayne Walker's lost that slipstream there. So we'll see how that opens up. But Jordan Ross getting a great launch out of there, last corner. And look at this, everyone's spread out already just because of everyone wasn't ready for it. WKMP vehicle there. Oh, we got Hall up the inside. Made an awesome move there. That is a very risky move. And then Matty Brunt with another overtake there. And he's going to get it done. The M1 racing machine up the inside as well. Gary Buckland absolutely getting demolished there in turn 1. Yeah, some drivers reacting better and some being caught out by how early Jordan Ross restarted just there. It's to his own advantage, the race leader heading down into turn 5. Gary Buckland wants none of being caught out by some of the dive bombs and late braking manoeuvres, and this is the very tail of your field. Justin McLean, Chad Lewis, Christopher Burridge is the lap down.
Chad Lewis 3 times through the lane, 1 drive-through penalty and twice on strategy. So Buckland has ended up behind David Nash, Logan Barnett. Those are some of the drivers making big moves. Barnett on this restart is really, really looking to gain. He had that penalty from the speeding in pit lane that wasn't really his own fault, put him really deep in the field here. He's looking to climb on through. So is Darren Lobb. So everything was the 30th on back. Be very entertaining viewing over the next couple of laps.
Definitely will be. A lot of passing opportunities on lap 1, so seeing that track position being very key at the moment, because we've seen... And there's another black flag, Ben Morris, on screen there, top of your screen. So the black flag getting sent out tonight. A good 5 or 6, Brendan. And that's the first one out from race control there to Ben Morris. So bit of contact there. Can't remember that incident with Ben Morris, so I'm going to replay that eventually. But Darren Lobb on screen here now. After all these black flags he's had with the exit there, he'll try and recover here. Not the fastest lap on your screen as well. So up through the last corner and to the start finish straight here. So trying to make a move at turn 1, and you can see there car inside just backing out of it instantly. And I think that's David Nash's car there.
Barnett goes around the outside, picks up another spot. David Nash just behind as Darren Lobb looks to the outside of turn 5. There's a little bit of contact, nose to tail there. It puts Nash wide. He has a wobble. Now they're going to look 3 wide underneath the Sargento Cheese Bridge. Lobb all the way to the inside. David Nash picking the pocket of the both of them. As we head down towards turn 5, it benefits Nash. It didn't work out how Darren Lobb was hoping for. On the inside, he's so brave on the brakes. Needs to get it stopped, slowed down at that apex, and he does. So he gets those back in turn 5, and then Nash gets his elbows out.
Yeah, another move. That looked like the 9.5 racing machine. Up the inside, a little bit of contact on exit, and I think that's Justin McLean, and it is. So on screen there, a bit further back, and Chad Lewis having a look on the outside. He's stuck back in, knowing that it's not worth it. He's going to wait for these two to have a bit of a tussle, and then probably go through. Car off the exit. On the exit there, cars off on the left. John Gallen in some more trouble there. And one of the Southern Cross's entry as well. I haven't seen that team around for a while, so good to see them back out there. Been around for a very long time.
Yeah, no shortage of drama with high speeds, big braking zones, and some brave and bold moves happening with a jumbled pack after the early safety car and pit window. For Wayne Sanderson, a couple of positions back on where he'd like to be. Same too for John Gallen. Pretty close, 2nd, 3rd, 4th at this stage of the race. Jordan Ross has just bolted on them a little bit. Sean McNamara up in 2nd for Gamble Walker. Paul Young still sitting in that 5th position. And Mike Taliancic running 8th behind Ken Latta. Still haven't heard anything about if Ken Latta's contact is going to give him a drive-through penalty or not. Ben Morris is serving his. So there's the race leader, just sitting on the fringes of slipstream range. But Scott Gamble has a perfect look at Sean McNamara and either a chance to attack into turn 5 or to save fuel. And this looks like he'll consider attacking into 5. Get so close, almost a little bit of a bump and run on Sean McNamara here. Gamble doesn't want to take the spot that way, but he's caught out in the braking zone, drops in behind.
Losing time there with Jordan Ross fighting, so this gives Jordan Ross another advantage. 1.4 out, so this is not good for Scott Gamble here. Just being stuck behind McNamara here, so McNamara, I think, trying to save him fuel here, zoom feed here, being teammates not too long ago at all, and Scott Gamble changing teams recently to the RT camp over there, so this will be a good fight between the two, and we'll see this happen. So here we go. Fast kink. So Wayne Walker's actually in this now. So it's kind of roped him back in. We saw from the restart, we saw that Wayne Walker lost a lot of time on the front 3, but he's pulled him back in. Paul Young's right there as well. Down to the last couple of corners here. coming up to turn 14. But you can see Jordan Ross just pulling 1.4 second gap here, so he can kind of control the field how he wants. He can either fuel save or just push away, and I think he's going for option 2 not at the moment. And Sean McNamara just checking his hair there, just to, you know, he knows we're watching. But Scott Gamble there.
He's just checking that it hasn't fallen out, I think, under this pressure from Scott Gamble. Battles elsewhere through the field as well.
Battles all around the field, as Haynes said. We've got Jeff Thomas in 9th at the moment. He's trying to catch the car in front, which is Mike T, Talianchitz, in 8th place. Mike T actually up 3 spots at the moment, so he's starting to work his way through. Mike Talianchitz has been very strong in the last generation of this car, Gen 2, and very quick, so Gen 3 going very well for Mike Talianchitz. So back on feed now. You can see here Scott Gamble and Sean McNamara swapping places. So the ERT machine is in front of the 9.5 car, and I would actually say this is a good move from Sean McNamara. Save a little bit of fuel. We know he took about 2 seconds less fuel, and I'm trying to think out in my head how much that would be in litres. Would you have a clue, Haynes?
I thought Yeaman knew what the litres per second refueling was.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
The answer is it's about half a lap, so probably sort of 2.5 litres.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
This would be work for Scott Gamble to try to close this gap down, though. If he can do that, everyone in the trailing group will be pretty pleased with him. So drivers like McNamara, Wayne Walker and Paul Young from Canada Corner and out into the sunshine. The tall trees either side of the racetrack. It's a rather intimidating canyon in that back straight. Go over the crest of the hill at Bill Mitchell Bend and then try to position yourself. So easy to just tag a little bit of the grass on the way in or the exit of the final corner there.
I think Wayne Walker actually dipping a wheel there, like you said. Don't want to do that at all. Lose half a length there at least. And Wayne Walker, even that these two have battled, it seems like Wayne Walker's dropping off the back a little bit, but that could be just saving a little bit of tyre or fuel. So running aboard here, look at this view. What a great little view he's got here, Wayne Walker. He's actually got the sequential shifter we can see there, as we know in the Gen 3 Supercar. It's always had a sequential shifter since the early 2010, I would probably say. That's the number I can think of. They've had sequentials for a very long time. And yeah, we can see on screen it's came into the simulator, and he's got a SimMagic Neo steering wheel there. Very nice, bright, colourful wheel. And he's got the dashboard up as well. So Wayne Walker trying to stay on the back of Sean McNamara at the moment. Sean McNamara being a very big name in the sim racing community for a very long time, knowing what he's doing behind a race car. So Wayne Walker doing a great job here.
Still got drivers like Darren Lobb, Justin McLean, Chad Lewis trying to carve their way back through the field. Lap 11 of 31 for a 200-kilometre RaceKraft V8 Veterans event tonight. Leading group, they're holding stations, they're thinking about their strategy, but if you want side-by-side, you'll get it from just in front of Scott McCune. So that's John Latham and Ricky Hyde banging doors again on the way to the carousel. Scott McCune sneaks through to try to sneak a spot off both of them. And Latham and Ricky Hyde banged so much doors, been off the road so much. John Latham has already crossed the threshold for the incident point drive-through before the halfway point of this race. Looking down the inside goes Logan Barnett into the kink. You end up wide and in the marbles. There's no grip there.
Ricky Hyde having some front damage there, so I'd say he's lost a lot of downforce there through the fast kink there. So he's lost a heap of positions here. I wonder if he does an early pit stop. Trying to still defend though from the RaceKraft car. Contact. Ricky there, here comes, I think that's Chad Lewis right behind. Yeah, right behind. And he still can't get it off Ricky Hyde here. Ricky Hyde doing a great job trying to defend it. Ricky goes Thought he'd cover that off, but he hasn't. Ricky Hyde on the outside. Does he go into pit lane with this damage? One car in. We can see there on the right-hand side.
Waiting for the drive-through with the incident points, and the nose gets chopped off. Heading up the hill, Chad Lewis has been relatively patient. Thought he could have forced his way through at Canada Corner as well, but he's tried to wait it out. Ricky Hyde maybe with a little bit of trouble turning and stopping the car. Still going to look for the inside at turn 1. There's enough grip around the outside there for Chad Lewis, who's just in behind. Gary Buckland is the driver just in behind here as well. Drive-through penalty does come through for Ken Latta. I think that backdates all the way to under safety car and the first wave of pit stops.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Ken Latta. Just those tiny little mistakes can get you penalties like that, and he is in 7th at the moment, so that's a big loss for sure.
That's all fair, because if he didn't hit another car, he would have been speeding on pit lane and gotten the same penalty either way. So it's what was coming to him. It'll take him out of the group in the top 7 when he goes to serve that. It'll give Mike Taliancic another spot. He's an on board with Chad Lewis. He's got to keep an eye on what's happening in front of him. At a distance like that, if the car in front of you does spin around and spear back onto the racetrack, you've got to be ready to react. So you're not just worrying about your line through the corner, but you do need to keep an eye on what's happening up in front. 32nd position at the moment. Ricky Hyde getting smaller in his mirrors, and a massive battle pack just out in front of him. Logan Barnett versus David Nash versus Steve Kennedy, Justin McLean, and Darren Goosey. Barnett's picking up some more spots in that group. Ken Latta comes in for his drive-through. Everyone else leaps up a spot from about the 6th place on back.
Scott McCune making another position here for P9, or P8, sorry, up in the field, and Chad Lewis still running on board here. Ken Latta taking that drive-through penalty, which is unfortunate, but like we said, it was coming to him. So
wrong Scotty Mack, Scott Mackay making the position.
Oh, my apologies.
There's too many of them.
There's too many of them. Come
Ken
on,
Latta on the blend, just in front of Chad Lewis. So Ken Latta has come back out in 31st spot, but he's still got a black flag. Oh, he didn't give himself another one on the pit exit or on the drive-through, did he? The black flag either cleared and he's got another one, or didn't clear. Ken Latta is 31st, and they are still waving a black flag at him.
I'll just double check on the entry.
No, that looks okay, doesn't it? Looks fine. Fine there.
He's locked up again in the pit entry, it looks like. Replay here, RaceKraft Simulations replay.
Gonna get a speedo on it? What's the problem?
I think he got it on entry, to be honest, but that's what I'm seeing on my feed.
Well, it needs to adjust his brake marker into pit entry to slow down in time when he doesn't have ARCA brakes. We're going to watch it. We spoke about why this is a very challenging pit entry. It's at speed over the crest. You can't see the cones until he's sped on pit entry. Oh my goodness. He would have sped on pit entry the first time, except he hit another driver, got a drive-through penalty for that, and has now been speeding on pit entry proper. That's one to forget for Ken Latta. He's normally a pretty good, pretty tidy, pretty clean and respectable driver, but this is just Road America's pit entry has his number.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of the Achilles heel for Ken Latta. I know him from a lot of racing, but yeah, he's normally very good on the pit entry. He's been me a couple of times under the brakes, so yeah, just braking a little too late there, and just not noticing where the cones are.
Third time's the charm. Third time's the charm, Ken. We're on board with Ken Latta.
Oh.
It's close, but I reckon it's okay. My, oh my.
Still pushing it on pit lane. So,
honestly, I want to watch this. I got to see this to the exit to see the black flag withdrawn, because, you know, fool me once, you know, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I'm pretty sure. He's going to hit the pit box, I don't know, just to be sure or something. Oh my gosh. Ken Latta overshoots his pit box. Oh, Ken Latta is probably going to be one of the first drivers to go a lap down. We've got to look away. Got to look away. Poor Ken Latta. Absolutely having a night to forget. In the race lead, Jordan Ross has made one compulsory pit stop, as has the most of the field. We haven't yet crossed the critical lap number, I don't believe, so won't be expecting everyone to jump in for their second compulsory pit stop just yet. But Scott Gamble, Sean McNamara, Wayne Walker, they're all pretty close here. 2.5 seconds behind Jordan Ross, the race leader. Paul Young, after his early gains, hasn't matched the pace of the podium group. So Michael Stewart just behind him, then Taliancic. Jeff Thomas has his 8th place back. Scott Mackay has had a real scruffy last lap, lost about 5 seconds, lost about 5 spots. Mackay's back into 12th while we were putting Ken Latta's miserable, very good, bad, no good day on broadcast. Scott Mackay's dropped from 8th back to 12th.
Yeah, he's dropped back a little bit, so...
Safety car's gone and blown its motor. There's a smoking McLaren 720S on pit lane. We've got a backup, don't worry, and also the safety car's got some fast repairs, I think.
I don't think McLarens are supposed to do that, Haynes. Do you think they're supposed to do that? I don't think they're supposed to do that.
No, they're not meant to. Selected the wrong car to know. Oh dear. Okay, so it's drama on drama on drama on pit lane as we approach the halfway point, nearly 100 kilometers completed. It is just now the window where you could fuel the car up and get home, having completed both compulsory pit stops. That's why Steve Kennedy and Ricky Hyde are on the pit lane. They're going to have to absolutely brim their cars to the 93-litre capacity to get home from here. Ben Morris also in. Ken Latta's pit stop was a minute, the 4th time that he entered pit lane. The less said about that from here on out, I think, the better, because we've got some really strong battles for the podium, for the top 5 and inside of the top 10. There's a train from Troy Stone Street in 9th to Dean Flavel, the Dino Dino in 15th. I think Stone Street's moved from the Mustang to the Camaro from last round to this round.
Choice of car a bit different, knowing that the Gen 3s are a little bit different, the cockpits are different, and the sound of the car is different, which everyone's probably picked up on recently, or not recently, as a note of Gen 3 coming out. So knowing that the Camaro has an LS inbuilt of the car, and the Ford Mustang having Coyote, so maybe a change of cars, maybe what Troy needed.
Yeah, and that difference in sound comes from the difference in intake temperatures. Maybe, probably not. Mark Poynton started 21st in this race, and he's part of this pack here up into 11th, so even one of those positions he gained was at the expense of Scott Mackay. Not seeing this group head for pit lane just yet. Deeper in the field, might see a few more second stops come in. This is looking forward from Poynton, 95 SimSpeed, and also looking on board with Poynton. You and producer Daniel Yeaman are nerds for this sort of thing. What wheelbase and wheel is he using?
Yes, knowing Dan Yeaman, he loves a good wheelbase and wheel. So if anyone wants to support Dan Yeaman with his new wheelbase and wheel, contact Dan Yeaman.
Unfortunately, that grift works in this broadcast. There is another good look at Dean Logsdale. I think we did ask him. It was like a Sim Magic Mini or something. He got the racing line on.
Oh, he does have the racing line.
That's sort of, it's one of those things that
it's almost,
it's not illegal, but it's just not normally the done thing, you know?
I remember
it's like touching the Stanley Cup or something.
It's like I don't know what to be. Yeah, it's kind of when I joined iRacing, I put the racing line on and instantly I got absolute flamed for it. So yeah, I haven't touched the racing line forever.
In a practice session, the first time you buy a new track, I think no worries. If you're going to let your little cousin on your sim rig or something, no worries. But in a race, to me, it feels too distracting, and then it's wrong if you're racing side by side or if your tires drop off, or I don't know. For me, in a race, I don't think I want it, or it helps me. It just feels more like a distraction. But I mean, I'm not going to tell Dean Logsdale he's doing anything too wrong.
He's doing a good job at the moment.
He's up in 10th.
Yeah, he's doing a good job here in the RaceKraft Simulations car. And the RaceKraft Simulation car, being a black car now, they've changed that recently. So something a bit different on the cars, and I don't mind it. Don't mind it at all.
No one making that long leap across to pit lane in this group. On board with Poynton just in behind the car we were looking at last, Dean Logsdale. So Mark Poynton, yeah, really big mover in this race, and he's using that slipstream just to keep putting the pressure on. I don't think he was ever close enough to outbrake in towards turn 1, but he's just letting Mark Poynton know he's there, and maybe force Dean Logsdale off his racing line.
Oh my god. I like how you did that. That was good. Anyway, back to racing lines. Dean on the charge at the moment, trying to catch Troy Stonestreet, and Mark Poynton having a look up the inside.
Travis Hunt's looking to the inside in turn 5 on Luke Allman. So there's a couple of moves happening in turn 5. One of the best spectator places to be. Travis Hunt sticks his move. Scott Mackay might get one spot back. He's now up the inside of Dean Logsdale. So gains for Poynton, gains for Mackay. Dean Logsdale drops 2 spots into 12th. But still, with one more pit stop to play out, if you can have a good pit stop, work your strategy well, you're not too worried about 1 or 2 positions on track here. Travis Hunt runs deep into that braking zone there. That's why there's so much gravel, dirt and debris on the racetrack, side by side in the carousel. Is there enough grip around the outside for Luke Allman? He's going to try to just squeeze Travis Hunt a little bit. This led to chaos with Darren Lobb and Chad Lewis maybe earlier, but Hunt holds on.
Yeah, he held on very well, being on the outside with all those marbles. Luke Allman doing a very good job on the outside there. Travis Hunt's going to have to cover up in this corner here. I'm trying to remember which one it is. Turn 12. Canada as the actual name of it. And have a look at this. More cameras. This is great. This is absolutely amazing. Maybe we need to put our cameras on, Haynes.
I did that one time with the bear, but I don't think I got credited my 1 bonus point because I didn't complete 24 laps to be a classified finisher. Allman gets just a little sideways there, so Travis Hunt can breathe a sigh of relief on the pit straight. There's some other drivers under pressure on the pit straight. Dean Logsdale heads to pit lane, so it won't be him, but Stonestreet's got a hell of a run at Jeff Thomas towards turn 1, bringing the aggressive and gaining Mark Poynton into the picture as well. We just talk about Poynton picking up spots as he goes. David Kirby gets a move on Christian Smart, I think, but this is where some of the action could be. I think Thomas, Stonestreet, Poynton, Mackay, we've seen that Poynton and Mackay have the will to try to move forward.
You see Poynton with his car as well, being very aggressive, which is what we want to see as commentators. Looks very aggressive tonight, so it's good to see he's getting his elbows out. David Kirby having a look. Backs out of it last minute. And, settles back in.
Oh, Boyd runs wide. David Kirby looking down the inside of him. Might have been a bit of multi-21 between the fishy teammates. Kirby going ahead of Smart on the pit straight and wide and out in the marbles. They've really snookered Stacey Boyd. Christian Smart goes ahead. Not able to complete the move. Christian Smart. David Kirby leading this group. Stuart Hall just behind.
Christian Smart getting a bit of a bump on the exit as well, I saw. Stacey Boyd wants to keep that position from the American, Stacey Boyd. So good to see there's an American out there. Stacey Boyd doing
this is his
job.
national park.
It is. I feel like he would beat me in a supercar these days, Stacey Boyd being in the cars that much. Christian Smart running on board now. Just coming through this fast right. Look how much speed they carry through there. You do need to be do need to brake a little bit. So you can get a run through that corner. We've seen that multiple times in every other series, running on board with Kristen Smart.
Yeah, 13 laps to go, 13 laps since the leaders last pitted, so it's sort of the halfway point, and Sean McNamara and Wayne Walker are going to come in from the top 5. Expect to see a whole heap of other drivers, I think, look at this as the halfway from the first stop, halfway home, make their second stop. Stone Street, Poynton, Mackay, Allman, all heading into pit lane. Not these drivers, they're going to go a little bit longer, but even drivers from inside of the top 10 are saying, don't need the track position, what I need is to put the fresh tyres on right now.
I'm having a think about strategy. I think the overcut might be the way to go, but I could be wrong. Jeff Thomas and Travis Hunt staying out, the 2 teammates. So that, I'm looking forward to see if the overcut does work. There is some drivers out there, Paul Young, Mike T, Michael Stewart staying out as well. Scott Gamble is one of the big one, and our leader Jordan Ross. So they're all staying out, all our big leaders. So this will be interesting.
I think with the long lap here, the tyre undercut can work, because the driver that you're racing against has to wait more than 2 minutes before they can react. So you've got a lot of outlap versus in-lap to try to undercut them. And by the time you're, here around towards turn 5, your tyres are practically in, and you're going faster than you would have been on the old tyres, even with the extra fuel that you've had to go put on. So this is where a few of them have come out after their second stop. Highest running driver I can see that's completed the 2 compulsory pit stops looks like it would be Wayne Walker. Yeah, Sean McNamara just a second and a half, 2 seconds behind him. Then Troy Stone Street ahead of Dean Logsdale. So pretty good for Stone Street. Logsdale, though, stopping a lap ago. So if there is a cold tyre phase, Logsdale is past it.
Yeah, I remember watching someone last night on the fresh tyres compared to old tyres. It was about 4/10 in one sector. So they might have a massive jump. So it should be interesting. Travis Hunt in the pit lane, same as Jeff Thomas. And
Scott Gamble pits from second, Michael Stewart behind him as well. Jordan Ross carrying on, though. Had enough time in his back pocket. I would have thought that he doesn't need to be too worried about being undercut, and so he'll just go a lap or 2 longer. Keep his car lighter. Stone Street under pressure, down the inside into Canada corner, but way too deep. Dean Logsdale all out into the beach. Troy Stone Street goes over under, and that was perhaps a mistake from Logsdale to be that ambitious. We didn't know where to brake because he was off his racing line.
Yeah, he just didn't know where the braking line was, and went off at Canada corner there. And Wayne Walker is in front of Scott Gamble, ladies and gentlemen. So this is quite interesting.
Yep, that's true. Walker, 19-second stop. Scott Gamble, 21-second stop, and the 1 lap of undercut. Wayne Walker putting himself into position to run second in this race, still expecting quite a few more pit stops from everyone in the 11 positions ahead of Wayne Walker. Scott Gamble, though, I think he'll recognise how much racing is still left. 11 more laps that he can just slowly work his magic here. If he's got more car pace, if he's got more race pace, his time might yet still come.
I remember before Scott Gamble went into pit lane, it was about 2 seconds between Scott Gamble and Jordan Ross. I'm curious where Jordan Ross is going to come out in this whole situation. But yeah, it's a big thinking game here. Jordan Ross in the pit lane now.
Yep, he's going to attack pit entry, get the car down to 72 kilometers an hour, right on time. And as the pole sitter, he'll be making the long trundle all the way to the pit out end where his pit crew are going to be waiting. Mike Taliancic follows in, only driver to carry on. Paul Young will get a lead lap and therefore probably pick up one of the bonus points. Here's the fishy teammates again. Kirby and Smart, and they're going to go together into pit lane, followed by Stuart Hall. Still got Darren Lobb, David Nash, Darren Goosey, Chad Lewis, a couple of others that need to make their stop, but it's not this lap for Darren Lobb. And with the kind of car pace that we know he has, this sort of offset, whether it's overcut or undercut, he can be so quick that so long as he gets his nose into clean air, he'll jump a couple of drivers. Remembering he started from 41st on the grid, and I would not rule out a top 15 or a top 10 still for Darren Lobb.
Wayne Walker might get Jordan Ross on exit.
Yeah, alongside Jordan Ross, Wayne Walker's going to be just behind him. 23 seconds for Ross. Remember, just 19 for Walker. This is your top 3 net results. Pending a couple more pit stops, this could be the top 3.
Scott Gamble right on the back of Wayne Walker as well, really trying to give him some pressure at the moment, but Jordan Ross still has cold tyres, so those braking zones are going to be nice and long for Jordan Ross. So it'll be interesting up at turn 5. I've been talking about all race. This has been a passing opportunity. Does he make a big lob? But Scott Gamble's having a look as well. On the outside, tucks back in. But yeah, very nice and close here in the top 3.
And a chance they could encounter a tiny bit of traffic because Gary Buckland just up the road hasn't stopped yet. Chad Lewis just up the road from him hasn't stopped yet. I think 3 seconds, it probably won't be an issue for Jordan Ross, but still he can see battling cars and lap down car of Burridge, I think, just in front of him as well. This has closed in a little bit since turn 5, and we'll see how powerful the slipstream may or may not be, particularly out of the kink at Canada Corner. Jordan Ross taking the line through the carousel. That's a real sweeping double apex. Breathe in the middle and then come back to a late apex.
This is the move at Canada Corner. This might be the opportunity for the race, because we know Wayne Walker's got on some older tyres compared to these two, so if he's going to make a move, it's got to be kind of early, get these guys kind of moving. So this will be interesting. Wayne Walker right on the rear at Canada Corner, so turn 1 might be an opportunity here. He's got to set up turn 14, the last corner, so we'll see if he sets it up. Scott Gamble on his rear as well, but if Scott Gamble fights, that makes Jordan Ross walk away again. So out of turn 14, here we go.
Yeah, exits of that final corner have maybe been just a little weak for Wayne Walker at times. He tried to keep it in bounds there, and he certainly got to look more rearwards than forwards, crossing the start-finish line. Paul Young's in the pit lane, Gary Buckland's in the pit lane. It all opens up a little bit more for our leaders. Tiny bit of fuel management there from Scott Gamble just going into turn 1. Again, he spoke about he can afford to be a little bit patient, so I think he can also afford to just give Wayne Walker 1 or 2 laps to see if he's going to get closer to Jordan Ross. I'm not sure he is. Ooh, black flag for Logan Barnett. Probably incident limit.
Yeah, Scott
been amongst the wars, hasn't he?
He has been a bit. Scott Gamble
Fighting
on the inside.
Midfield.
Yeah, look at that move. Nice and easy, and Wayne Walker's just let him go easily. So this might be Wayne Walker going, look, my tyre's not as good as what I thought it would be. I'm going to let it go. Can't change Jordan Ross. So in a way, this could be P3 locked in for Wayne Walker. He just needs to keep Sean McNamara off his rear end. Scott Gamble look at that gain already. And using all the track. He bought all of the track, so he's going to use all of it. And look at the gain on Jordan Ross there.
US dollars $14.95. Maybe he's got the 20-piece discount already going on, but
maybe.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Walker probably has to do more fuel management in this final stint than the rest based on the pit stop times that we saw. So I don't think he could go with Jordan Ross and make his fuel. He pretty clearly let Gamble through in the run to turn 5. Gamble's still pushing hard and Walker's just beginning to drop back a little bit. All of them carrying as much speed as they can through the kink, doing some of the mowing for the track prep crew. Jordan Ross has picked up the pace. Gamble's going to struggle to go with him. Oh, more mowing for the track prep crew. Mike Teliancic goes through on John Gallen. I think there's a lap down here. Teliancic versus Young is a position. Darren Lobb, David Nash are going to hit pit lane. There's only a few drivers left that need to make a final stop. John Gallen is one of them. That's why they were so eager to get by him through the kink. Paul Young was as high as 5th, and his final stop's been a little long and a little late. And there peels off John Gallen, Mike Taliancic, Troy Stone Street, just in behind new fastest lap of the race for Jordan Ross. He's put the hammer down and he's left Scott Gamble in his wake. Still need Chad Lewis to stop a final time.
Chad Lewis being a teammate of Scott Gamble, I wonder if there's any team games going on. No, I don't think there will be, but Chad Lewis still needing the box. So what are we on lap 23? So that's a very late pit stop for Chad Lewis. He'll be a lap down when he goes for that pit stop. But the one move that I'm quite interested about is Paul Young. He boxed very late. He was in P12, moved up to P8 after the pit stop. Went to back to P12 when he came out of the pit stop, and he's moved back up to P8. So the tyre is going to be a little bit fresher. He's a lap longer than Jordan Ross, so I wonder if he's going to pull onto the back of the rest of these guys here. Should be a little interesting. Michael Stewart's the next one.
I think Michael Stewart's undercut Paul Young based on this, but you're right. Now Young has some of the best tyres out there. Chad Lewis will stop. It'll move Michael Stewart up into 5th. It'll move Paul Young up into 6th. Before we kicked off the wave of second pit stops, I thought Young was in 5th place. At least he certainly was at one point. Then Taliancic, Stone Street, Jeff Thomas, Scott Mackay in this group for your top 12 as well. So this is a serious pack from 7th through to about 13th.
Yeah, it is a very good pack. I was just going to mention there, Michael Stewart with a really good night as well. Qualified P4 and currently sitting P6, so what a great night for Michael Stewart. Been building up pace for a very long time, been in veterans for a very long time as well, and there is the classic VR headset that we've always seen him use. Got the earbuds in as well, no headset. I recommend earplugs for VR. You wouldn't want a sweaty headset and VR on your head.
And the classic Michael Stewart. We've got the greatest racing tracks in the world. Do you know where Road America is on that?
Can I have about 3 hours and 20 seconds to find that?
Would you like a top tip? Geographically, they're organised. So tracks that are in the southeast of the world are on the southeast of the map. So Australia's in the bottom right, US is in the top left, and he's helpfully put a red pin on it.
He has to. He's put some effort into that track, man. I actually wouldn't mind that. Quite hit him up, and you can see Le Mans there. Look at the size of that track. That is just... You could probably put about 8 tracks in there.
Look you could fit Monaco inside of Albert Park.
Yeah, you could actually.
Avis is certainly an interesting racetrack on that, and every racetrack fits within the Isle of Man TT course. I'm pretty sure is the one that bounds them all. Yeah, so a good race for Michael Stewart. He moves up into 5th with a pit stop from Chad Lewis, and moved to be sort of more integrated with 9.5, and I wonder if that's paying some dividends for him here as well. The only thing he's got to worry about in the next 7 laps is what kind of pace Paul Young has on the new tyres, but I think Stewart is in a good position there in 5th. This battle, 8th through to 16th. Unstoppable. Travis Hunt's got Dean Logsdale and Luke Allman just behind him, so you know that's 2 quick guys, and he's closing in on his teammate. Oh, how close did he get to his teammate? Too close to his teammate.
Yeah, a little bit of close for comfort on the outside here. You can see Travis Hunt's went deep, and he's realised last minute, I'm going to hit my teammate, I'm going to lock up and just go a bit deep. And I think he might have a little bit of contact, because you could see with Jeff Thomas, he moved his car a little bit forward, so would have been a little bit of contact, nothing major, but good stopping there from Travis. Travis there just really trying to pull the car up and not hit his teammate, because I would not want to be in that Discord if they collided there. But moving on. The thing
is making sure it was a square hit as well. So, okay, yeah, you might have pushed your teammate a tiny bit wide, but you didn't turn him around. I think that was what was important. So Scott Mackay gets ahead of the both of them in that manoeuvre. He's up into 10th, leading this pack. Jeff Thomas, Travis Hunt, Dean Logsdale, and Luke Allman in 14th. Time for maybe like a Darren Lobb check, because he's in 23rd right now.
That is remarkably good. Let's go and have a look at him. Here he is on screen, South African. Darren Lobb, 099. He's kind of been the name that you kind of talk about every race, don't you? Hazy, he's just that good, isn't he?
And he has a chance to make a couple more spots because it's behind Stuart Hall, Stacey Boyd, Christian Smart, Ray Smith, and Dean Flavel up to 18th place. So 18th place is at the lead of this pack, where he's in 23rd at the moment. Yeah, well, there goes one move. Straight past Stuart Hall. No worries, goodbye. Looks like he's really good on the brakes in that segment. We've seen him from quite some distance back. Sort of, whoa, there he goes flying down, and then still get it stopped, slowed, make the corner in the apex, no worries, and power out the other side. Up into 22nd position with a couple more still to gain.
That was a big slide on exit for Darren Lobb there, but he's got about 3 to 4 laps over everyone in front of him. So this is a massive advantage for people that are watching this race. 3 to 4 laps on these set of tyres that the Gen 3 Supercar has at the moment, that is a massive advantage. That's what you want under your belt, and I reckon Darren Lobb's going to use it. Only got about 6 laps to go.
Connor, guess Dean Flavel's heart rate right now.
Oh. No. I'm going to say about 120, you know.
I'm going 110. Let's take a look. Let's check out what the Dino Dyno is at right now as he's trying to defend 18th place from Ray Smith. Oh, it's about 110. Okay.
Yeah, that's 110.
Yeah, it's still up there. Seems to fluctuate a little more these days than it was a bit more steady or averaged back in the past. But yeah, he's having an almighty workout here, and he's still got a handful of laps to go with some quick guys behind him.
Look at the calorie burn he's got there. Maybe I need to get back in the old Gen 3 Supercar. Get my calories a bit down. Good, it's a good workout machine, the Gen 3. So
we calculated how that compares to Zinger boxes at one point in previous broadcasts, and the answer is it's up there. It's up there. Darren Lobb's got an opportunity right here because Stacey Boyd's a little bit offline. Darren Lobb goes around the outside. The battle was on through turns 1 and 2, and now Lobb gets ahead of Boyd, who's maybe even positioning to let Stuart Hall go. So he made the Lobb check. He was in 23rd, then he's 22nd, now he's 21st.
There's the move.
Now he's 20th.
Yeah, that's another one. Stacey Boyd camera as well in the zoom feed. It's great having all these zoom feeds. We can kind of just check on them mid-race while they're driving. See there with the sweat on top of the forehead. I was trying to figure out the word I was trying to find there. So Stacey Boyd doing really well here. In 22nd.
Heat advisory remains in effect for New York from 11 a.m. this morning to 8 p.m. this evening. Heat index values in the mid to upper 90s expected. Okay, there we go. That's me googling weather in New York. Yeah, a little toasty potentially.
I think that's about 35 degrees. I think.
Yeah, mid to high 30s.
Yeah. I know freedom units. Look at me.
And it doesn't look like he's, particularly racing from an air-conditioned bedroom. It looks like a gym or a garage type situation. So with the treadmill and the weights behind.
Yeah, well, at least he's getting the calories down. Mike pointing on screen with Troy Stone Street. This battle continues. 2 tenths between the two. So you put a bed sheet over it, you could say.
Well, it'd have to be a double sheet.
Yeah, probably actually. I'll think about it.
Bit of a slide from Poynton, tiny bit wide. Troy Stone Street will keep the pressure on for this 8th position. Mark Poynton is the biggest gainer inside of the top 10 with 13 positions up. So he's been moving through, and it'll take something to reverse the pace for Troy Stone Street to get that spot back. Both of them lost a bit of time last lap. 2:11.5 Poynton, 2:12 Troy Stone Street. While the driver behind them, Scott Mackay, did a 2:10.6, so would have pulled 1.4 seconds on Stone Street last lap. Scott Mackay, with 5 laps left, is not that far behind them. So Stone Street, if it was just the battling that cost the time, needs to settle back into a rhythm. Hey, Jeff Thomas ahead of Travis Hunt. What?
Off in the background.
Yeah, in front of them, Scott Mackay goes off.
Oh, he's going to miss the braking zone.
More dramas for Scott Mackay. Now Jeff Thomas is going to go side by side with him through the carousel around the outside. Rarely works. Slotting back in behind, but a couple of scruffy corners from Mackay. I think it all began with that thing we've seen happen sometimes through the fast right-hand at top of the hill. Just dip the outside tyre in the grass and get a wiggle, and to save it, he ended up all the way out in the grass. Dirt and dust on his tyres. Couldn't stop properly at the bottom of the hill. So now, maybe that's pressure off Troy Stonestreet, pressure on the teammates to not hit each other again.
Yeah, trying to not hit a teammate is rule number one. Look at this move. Oh, he's going to stop it. Oh, no, he doesn't get to stop Jeff Thomas up the inside, and Travis Hunt goes through, and that's Travis Hunt through. Like 2 positions up. Here comes another 9.5 car.
Logsdale goes way wide, trying to go around the outside of Bill Mitchell. Bend. Oh, Scott Mackay, he got double teamed by JWM, and then Dean Logsdale couldn't quite complete it. That's a little, it is a little cheeky from Jeff Thomas to hold Scott Mackay out wide and Travis Hunt shoot past the both of them, but I think the move was on. Scott Mackay was trying to defend against Jeff Thomas, who said, well, there's still a car width, so that's where I'm going, and what will be will be. Do they have to team orders, swap them back?
I wouldn't say so if I'm not a team manager, but I don't think so. I think that's racing, but that was really good. If that was a team tactic, or if it wasn't planned, that was really good racing there. You can see there with Jeff Thomas, like Anthony said, he's held him up wide so Travis Hunt can just dip through, and you could see Travis Hunt knew it was coming, so he's just braking early, and then went up the inside and put his foot into it, and that was it. So Jeff Thomas on the back of Travis Hunt now, and the teammates are 10th and 11th, and that's not a bad result for 2 teammates being that close.
Well, we played Guess the Heart Rate for Dean Flavel. Oh, for Jeff Thomas, I almost want to play Guess the Newton Meters of Force Feedback. Is it 15? 20?
Look at the arms there. You can see the veins popping out there. So, yeah, watching that, I'd probably say he's got a good 15 Newton meters going through there. Look at the face mid corner. Look at the intensity. Oh, look at the shift too. Really moving up through those gears, knowing that you're really always never off the gear stick at Road America. You're always up or down. There's 4th gear to get the drive. You see there, Travis Hunt just having some really good tyres into that race car at the moment. So Jeff Thomas just dropping off the back of his car a little bit.
I'm looking at those arms, and I reckon Jeff Thomas to represent Australia in canoeing at the 2032 Olympics.
I reckon we could throw Jeff Thomas in a canoe. I reckon you should go in it, Hainsey, and commentate Jeff Thomas's arms, you know.
Yeah, the downhill whitewater stuff, I reckon that's more exciting.
It is. Yeah,
I've long thought there's too many types of rowing in the Olympics. Why do we have singles, doubles, 4 and 8? Can't we cut out 2 and 4 and just have singles and 8s?
I guess so.
Like, if we're going to have more than one person rowing, let's bring out, like, Roman warships. That's what I want to see. I want to see how fast one person can row, and I want to see how fast 60 people, to the beat of a drum can row. And anything in between just doesn't interest me. So we'll keep an eye on the racing. Race leader has started, 3 laps to go. Plenty of battles still to be had. Not much happening for the top 5 at the moment, but Poynton, Stonestreet, Travis Hunt, Jeff Thomas, all of that. And then we look to Andrew Rushworth and Greg Sharp. Greg Sharp 2/10 quicker last lap, getting close to sniffing more of that slipstream on the long straights here. Downhill in 17th. Darren Lobb up into 18th now, so he has dispatched with all of that group that we saw him behind, 23rd to 18th. For Darren Lobb with a couple of laps still to go.
I have noticed on the timing sheet though, Scott Gamble has pulled in Jordan Ross. It was about 2.3. It's down to about 1.1 to 1.2. So Scott Gamble looking after those tyres in the first 4 laps. I don't think he's going to pull him in, but it's definitely going to be a little close to the end. But I'm on board with Greg Sharp here. And he's trying to catch 15th at the moment, which is Andrew Rushworth, who's I would say, I think he's newer to Vets, or am I completely wrong on that one? Because I don't think I've seen him before.
It says promoted from one of the other splits, so I think his first season in Split 1, perhaps.
Oh, that's awesome. It's awesome to see some newcomers into Split 1. We always love that.
So it's high speeds here for Dean Flavel and Ray Smith, 19th and 20th. Peak speeds past 260 k's an hour before they've got to drop to under 100 to make the corner. So a couple of big braking events, as Martin Brundle would say. Or maybe Neil Crompton.
Love a bit of Neil Crompton. Ray Smith on the back of Dean Flavel. I butchered that name really badly. I think I have. Infinity Motorsport.
Scott Mackay, has he got vengeance on his mind? Just in behind Jeff Thomas. They've crossed the start-finish line. 2 laps to go. They work their way through turn 3. A little bit of a gap between Hunt and Thomas will maybe make it difficult for Thomas to get the slipstream and to defend. Scott Mackay, 1 car length back and closing. Has been pretty strong on the brakes into 5. That's where he's going to look down the inside. He's going to brake deep, but perhaps not quite enough. Might have squandered a little opportunity there. Jeff Thomas keeps him behind for the time being.
You can really see that ERT headlight there just getting nice and close, and you can see him just understeering because that tyre just won't bite anymore. You kind of go back into a line now, but Jeff Thomas really struggling on these tyres now. And look at this up the inside. Oh, it doesn't make it work, but contact.
Luke Allman sneaks through. Scott Mackay too deep on the brakes. A little bit of contact onto the rear. Whoa! For Dean Logsdale, he's going to rejoin. Scott Mackay is going to lose out big time. He got a great run heading down the hill. But then Scott Mackay just got into the rear of Jeff Thomas. Dean Logsdale, innocent party, but Luke Allman making out like a thief up into 11th place. It's underneath the second for the race lead now. You're right. Scott Gamble's been closing in. Jordan Ross is going to see the white flag. We'll have 1 lap to go. But a 3-second margin for the race leader has come down to just underneath a second. Scott Gamble will not release the pressure. He's the only driver in the 209s, 2 laps in a row, quicker than Jordan Ross.
Yeah, 3/10 a lap pulling in. That's massive between these two. I mean, Scott Gamble, we've always known that Jordan Ross has been very quick on this new car, but Scott Gamble just showing some really awesome pace here. 9/10, but he needs to be about 3/10 to be able to make a move here at Road America. So I don't think he's going to get it done, but it's been one hell of a run for Scott Gamble, pulling all this back in. 8/10 now, down to almost 7/10 now. So he's absolutely pulling him in bit by bit, but I don't think he's going to get him.
And even Gamble's last pit stop slightly shorter than Jordan Ross, so I don't think it's Ross needing to save fuel. Here's Scott Mackay around the outside of Dean Logsdale. Andrew Rushworth and Greg Sharp, their battle has caught these two with everything that happened towards the carousel just a lap ago. So it's Rushworth behind as they go side by side. Scott Mackay with the inside. It's down to 6.5 tenths in the lead battle. Gee, I think Jordan Ross has got enough in his back pocket. He's a really smart racer that if he needed to conserve or save anything, he would have started doing it earlier and just give himself the ability to push hard at the end here. But you just can't take your eye away from a battle like this that's underneath a second. Through the kink, Scott Gamble doesn't close up as much as he would like. Last real overtaking opportunity is going to be in Canada Corner unless your rival's going to cough and splutter and run out of fuel uphill to the checkered flag. It's down to 5/10, Ross versus Gamble. Gamble, the only thing he can do here is push all the way to the end, have his fingers crossed for a miracle. For Jordan Ross, it's all about tidy through the final corner, tidy traction and point towards the checkered flag. From pole, having led the most laps, it's not the most comfortable race win ever for Jordan Ross, but he'll climb up the hill to see the checkered flag first, just 6/10 ahead of Scott Gamble. Wayne Walker joining them on the podium.
Yeah, that was a really exciting race at the end there. I just think if he went a little longer on that first, went maybe lap 21 for the pit stop, I reckon Scott Gamble would have had him, because the lap times are impressive from Scott Gamble, showing that he's got some true pace under that car at the moment.
Poynton and Stone Street racing up the hill. Scott Mackay is going to race up the hill with Dean Logsdale, Andrew Rushworth and Greg Sharp. Rushworth not able to make any of those moves stick. He tried to battle that group. There they come. Sort of completing around a bunch of our top 10. Darren Lobb comes through. Dean Flavel holds his spots. Top 20 all taking the checkered flag. Big lap here means that you can stay on the lead lap but be 2 minutes behind the leader. It's not quite Nürburgring or Le Mans spec, but it does take a while to complete the final lap. I think final car on the lead lap might be Ricky Hyde. Matthew Brunt a lap down, David Kirby a lap down.
We've got Sandman and John Latham having a crazy battle on the last couple of laps here. So Sandman's going to come across the line in front of John Latham, and we can see
Logan Barnett says, I don't want that engine anymore. Get it away from me. Crosses the start-finish line. Puts the shifter into R for race mode and sends that engine to the Shadow Realm. You'd forgive drivers like Ken Latta for doing the same. There's a look at Stephen Clark. That shirt's almost 40 plus.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a bit of a relic now. The shirt, yeah, very old shirt now. Bit of the past now. So Sandman
Everyone's taking
well.
the checkered flag. We'll get to the results of round 5 of this season of RaceKraft V8 Vets, the Elkhart Lake 200. Just over 200 kilometres completed, and the first to see the checkered flag was Jordan Ross, but not by the world's most comfortable margin, just 6/10 ahead of Scott Gamble, who begun to hunt him down at the end. Wayne Walker, good race, and gave himself every opportunity with a sharp pit stop, but didn't have the pace or maybe the fuel to push quite as hard at the end as Ross and Gamble could do. Still gets himself a great points result in third. Sean McNamara in fourth. Michael Stewart, great race, in fifth. Paul Young likewise in sixth, gaining a couple of spots across the race. Teljancic finishing in seventh, with Mark Poynton in eighth, Troy Stonestreet in ninth, and Travis Hunt in 10th. Luke Allman got 11th from Jeff Thomas. Scott Mackay in 13th. Dean Logsdale, Andrew Rushworth, Greg Sharp, Dan Hall, Darren Lobb from the back of the grid, 41st to 18th. The Dino Dean Flavel in 19th, and Ray Smith in 20th. Stuart Hall next, then Stacey Boyd, Christian Smart, Justin McLean, David Nash, Chad Lewis, Darren Goosey, Gary Buckland, Wayne Sanderson, and Scott McCune. 31st, John Gallen, Logan Barnett, Stephen Clark, John Latham, Ken Latta actually being scored on that lead lap, but a minute 34 down. Steve Kennedy and Ricky Hyde was the last driver on the lead lap. 1 lap down, David Kirby. 2 laps down, Matt Brunt. 2 laps down, Christopher Burridge. And Ben Morris, I think, is the only driver who's not going to be a classified finisher today, with a retirement 18 laps down. Always good value for money at Road America, and maybe we'll get good value for money when we speak to our podium.
I think it's going to be good to speaking to this podium. Very exciting at the end. And I just want to put a quick word in before we go to those guys. I wonder what happened to David Kirby at the end there, because yeah, I saw him in the top 20 or so. So I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, everyone's got a story in a race like this, and there's 40 plus drivers, so much to cover and try to unpack. Getting to our podium to unpack their race, third place was Wayne Walker, the winner a week ago, on the podium once again in RaceKraft V8 Vets, and putting together a great and consistent season. Wayne, congrats.
Thank you. This this race just sort of feels like a win for me, because it's not one of my favourite tracks at all.
You know, saying iRacing are going to have to keep releasing new tracks rather than updating old ones if you're going to keep adding to your new win tally. Plenty of people have got a heap of experience around here, and just keep on building from it. Talk us through your strategy then. We obviously had an early safety car that everyone made use of, but it sort of set up a longer run from there to the end. And yeah, when you elected to make your second stop, and how that worked for you.
Yeah, the safety car, everybody comes in, and I just put as much fuel as I could in, and then the second round of pit stops, I wasn't sure when to pit, and then when McNamara in front of me pitted, I followed him in and was able to undercut him because I think he must have short fueled a little bit under the safety car just to get track position. And then I was able to jump Scott and nearly jumped Jordan, but in the end I backed off a bit to let Scott through because I knew he was going to get past me anyway. So there was no point in sort of fighting it and risk sort of both of us sort of getting taken out. So I backed off a bit, let him through, and then just tried to stick with him and hoping he could pull us both up to Jordan, but wasn't quite able to get to him by the end.
Well, you were thereabouts, and the top three of you put a little bit of time into the rest of the field, like Sean McNamara and Michael Stewart. So it was sort of about you in that final stint, keeping an eye on Ross and Gamble, and I guess just being consistent, and you're well rewarded for it. Well done.
Thank you. I was a bit worried about Sean because he had good pace as well. So I was a bit surprised when he sort of dropped back a little bit. But it was good for me because I didn't have sort of pressure from behind either that much.
Well, thank you for joining us, speaking with us, and congratulations, I guess, for a third time on your podium. We'll see you for some of the other races remaining in this season. Who supports you? Who do you want to thank?
Just same as always, all the admin, everybody who helps, run the league, all race control. You guys for the broadcast, every week it's amazing to sort of watch back. All the other competitors as well, because without them, wouldn't be possible. Congratulations to Jordan and Scott on 1 and 2. And then all of our sponsors, Abbey Timber, Primal Wheels, Box and Lock Narang, and Modern Deck. Oh, and my teammates as well from Accelerate Sim Racing.
Right, thanks, Wayne. See you next time.
Thank you.
Connor, second place is going to join you, and that's going to be Scott Gamble.
Thank you, David Haynes. Hello, Scott Gamble. How'd you find that, mate?
Yeah, how you going, Connor? Not too bad. Tough race, really. The first stop where Macca he took a couple of seconds less fuel and jumped us, so we got a little bit compromised there. Probably we didn't have the pace to overtake Jordan, but we might have been able to stay with him, and we dropped a little bit of time, and then Wayne got the undercut, which was really good strategy for him, and that brought us up to Jordan for that last stint, and we just had to wait for the tyres to even out. And then we were able to make a little bit of ground being in the draft there, and a couple of small errors, sort of got us up there. But yeah, he's just super rapid, isn't he, Jordan? Like, that's why he is what he is. He's awesome too. Awesome driver.
Yeah, 100%. You said you didn't have the pace, but you went a lap earlier on the tyres, or a lap earlier in the pit stop, and you were pulling in Jordan from 2.3 seconds to 9/10 in the end. So, or 6/10, sorry, in the end. I'm just having a look. So that's seriously, you've pulled in a lot of pace, man, for those last couple of laps there.
Yeah, we were concentrating. It's probably the hardest I've concentrated on the sim for a while. Like, really wanted to get up and race with Jordan because, he's one of the elite drivers, and yeah, so it was good. He was making a couple of small errors. We talked about it in the green room. So it's maybe that little bit of pressure. Marbles on the track too. That sort of plays into it. You have to watch them. Take a slightly different lines at times.
Yeah, well, 100%. Well, all in all, mate, who would you like to thank? All your sponsors, the people that help you, and anyone else, mate?
Yeah, look, well done to Jordan. Talked about it. He's absolutely fantastic to race with and against. Wayne, he's, isn't he flying lately? He's in real good form. Good to see Macca back out on the track again, and Stewie, well done. for his top 5. But to the team over at ERT, thank you very much, guys. Logitech, they are amazing. They help us out with some gear, and we use it. So we endorse their gear, and that's what I was using tonight. New headset. Thank you very much, Logitech. So absolutely get in on it. And to all the other drivers out there, well done. Good to be part of it. And you guys, you do your job. And thank you.
Well done, second place, Scott Gamble, for tonight.
Cheers, mate.
One spot left on the podium, having spoken to Wayne Walker and Scott Gamble. It's race winner Jordan Ross, and you've won plenty of races so far this season, but that's going to be one of the closer margins.
Yeah, hey guys. Scott had mega pace tonight, and he pushed me all the way. So it was a really fun race with Scott and Wayne, and also Sean was up there, in that second stint, and we all were sort of like trading punches with lap time. So it was really cool. Everyone's having a good crack.
Sacrilegious to say, but this is a racetrack that's got just a little bit of Bathurst in it. I feel like it suits these cars well, with some long straights, some fast sweeping corners, and some really sort of challenging braking zones. Did you feel like this is a circuit well matched to this style of car and racing?
Yeah, it made it, even like in all the in any car you drive, it's a pretty good track. Obviously, pretty long lap time, but some really a really good variety of parts of the track, and it does suit these cars really well, and that's probably why you see really good racing here. And there's a bit of draft, and there's a bit of technical stuff, and Canada Corner's just horrible corner to try and get right. It's a bit like Hell Corner at Bathurst, but fun track. Can't wait for it to be on the calendar again.
I was going to ask for any other sort of zones that were a bit of a challenge, like maybe the kink before Canada Corner, or we saw some drivers struggling with pit entry even here as it's blind coming over the crest.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't. It's not a pit lane where you will try and attempt to go 11 tenths on the entry and try and pull it up. You sort of got to leave a bit of margin, but obviously turn 1 is pretty hard to get right. If you've driven the old car here, all the braking markers are quite a fair way back, and that's sort of a bit of muscle memory to get used to when you're driving these cars, because plenty of times in practice you'll blow it off at turn 1 because you're braking on the marker from the Gen 2 car. But mate, Canada Corner's the worst corner, well, my worst corner on the track. In the old car, the new car, whatever car I drive, I'm hopeless at that corner. So I think Scott was like 2 tenths faster than me at that corner every lap.
Blame Canada. You get back into winning ways after Portland, so as we go to some other tracks that you might be more history, more familiar with, is that gonna keep you ahead of some of the new up and comers?
I don't know. I think next week is Hockenheim, and it's Scops this week, so I'll jump on tomorrow night and dial myself in for that track, and that'll be good laps also for vets next week. We've got Pro Series, so there's a bit going on, a lot going on in the calendar at the moment. But I don't know what's coming up after that, but I think the calendar looks pretty cool, so can't remember what it was, but we'll be right. And all the guys are like Gamble and Walker and McNamara and Lob when he qualifies well. We're all like, everyone's so equal, obviously with the fixed sets and stuff, so it's really cool. It's really fun racing these guys.
Ooh, the Bend coming up on the 14th of August, so that's going to be a new track for us in this season. Thinking about strategy, we spoke with Wayne Walker about sort of today's strategy. Seems to be a trend to the supplementary regulations that kind of narrows the compulsory pit stop windows, less starting fuel, a lower fuel cap, but then we still had that early safety car which sort of sends everyone scrambling but still kind of aligns everyone onto similar strategies.
Yeah, the safety car sort of whatever race you're in, if a safety car comes out, it sort of neutralises the strategy, and particularly if it's 2 CPS and you can get home on 1 CPS from there, it narrows the window. But I think the 2 CPS in this style of race is pretty good. There's a wide scope to use different strategy, and when you're out the front, it was pretty simple. I had a little gap in that second stint to Scott, so I was able to just wait until he pitted, and then so it was pretty simple for me. But I think it's all good.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to you again. Can't wait to see you at the Hockenheim Ring. And for yourself and Synergy Sim Racing, who would you like to thank?
Just everyone involved with vets, obviously the organisers and everyone who puts it on every week, and obviously all the competitors. You guys over at SimSpeed, enjoy it. Like I say, every time I'm up here, I'm really enjoying it. So look forward to next week. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, well, there we have it. Our full podium from this round of RaceKraft V8 Vets. This is provisional points standings, Connor, with a couple of little caveats noted. But yeah, Jordan Ross, that race win, extending his lead over Wayne Walker.
Yeah, Wayne Walker, 867 points in second. And do you want me to go through the list, or do you want to go through the list?
Well, I mean, we don't need to run through it. I was going to also note that it closes up Walker and Gamble a little bit, which is interesting to note.
Yeah, it definitely does. With that 7-point deficit there, I think if Scott Gamble, seriously, we saw that pace at the end, for a 1 lap, little difference with that tyre. Jordan had better tyres, but you could just see Gamble was just absolutely hammering on those last couple of laps. So, I mean, if Scott Gamble goes back to the drawing board with a little bit of, tuning with that pit stops, I really think Scott Gamble's really going to be challenging Jordan Ross for the next couple of rounds. And if Scott Gamble does that, I think the championship will spice it up for the front. But yeah, with Jordan Ross being first with 922 points, that's a big margin, but we'll see what happens. Anything could happen in the end of the championship.
Yep, right now Jordan Ross is the man, and season 24 keeps rolling on when we go next time out to Hockenheim Ring, 150 kilometers, 33 laps from the German circuit. Thank you so much for joining us from Road America. David Haynes with Connor Nixon and Daniel Yeaman here for SimSpeed TV. Oh, do we need to pick a Chubby Bunsberger's driver of the day before we go? Connor, give us a suggestion.
That's actually a bit of a hard one, because I want to go... Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking maybe... I want to go Lob. I guess that's an obvious one, 42-18, but I would actually go Mark Poynton for this one.
I'd go Mark Poynton too. He had a really good race.
I think that's a really outstanding race. Or even Michael Stewart, 4th to 5th. I mean, it doesn't sound that, amazing, but at the same time, he's made a massive improvement. So, yeah, one of those two.
It's going to be Mark Poynton, who's going to be round 5 Chubby Bunsberger's driver of the day in the Frog Leap Juiced Racing Camaro. See in a week's time who picks it up there. Hope you'll join us on SimSpeed TV. Do follow or subscribe wherever you're watching, wherever you watch RaceKraft Simulations V8 Vets, because we can't wait for next week when round 6 goes to the Hockenheim Ring.